It is time for supper again. I'm gonna get back to baking stuff for you guys really soon, but this dish my mother requested, it's actually her recipe, but she decided I needed to cook it, so I decided if I have to cook it, I'm gonna make a video on it. It's a chicken casserole. It's a pretty simple recipe. I have here, this is about 3.5 pounds of split chicken breast. You can certainly do like a small whole chicken too and pull the meat off the bone. It's just easier when chicken breasts are 97 cents a pound, and that's my favorite cut, to use chicken breast. And the meat, obviously you don't have to dig around as much for breast meat as you do for thighs and legs and wings, that kind of thing. So, but when I was growing up, Mom always boiled a whole chicken. And by the way, don't throw out that broth that's left over. Freeze it. Come to a pinch later, throw some herbs in there, throw some noodles in there, grab a can of canned chicken, bam, instant chicken noodle soup. Throw you some mixed vegetables in there, you got an even heartier soup. Waste not, want not, right? So to this, I am adding half a teaspoon of pepper. Not gonna add a whole lot of any seasoning, and you'll see why in just a second. Half a teaspoon of pepper. I might open the garlic and get some garlic out of there. There we go. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And a whole teaspoon of salt. Probably shouldn't do that over there. Almost over salted my corn last night when we were getting ready to can corn, because some of it poured out when I was holding it over the jars, which my canning stuff is still out because I have more canning to do. So in here, 2 cans of, yeah, those gigantic, those aren't getting canned today. I've already got some cut up. That's the stuff that'll be canned. Those I'll deal with in a couple days. Anyway, I've got 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, or in this case, a giant can, and a can of milk, or if you use 2 small cans, you'd use 2 small cans of milk. And I'm gonna mix that thoroughly. Ooh, this is gonna fill up my dish, but that's okay. My kids really like this too. They always knew that if Grandma was gonna cook supper, that Grandma was probably making this, or she was ordering something. My mother prefers to leave the cooking to me, but she's got some skills. She just doesn't like it as much as she used to. And when you're cooking for my big boys, as opposed to her cooking for my daddy and 3 little girls, there's quite a difference in what you have to cook. So I'm trying to get this all mixed in here. My oven is ready. It's at 425 degrees. This will cook for about 30 minutes or so, just until it gets to be a nice golden brown on top and it's bubbling. All that stuff's getting all mixed in there. You can see that my mixture's coming together. I'm gonna put my chicken in here in just a second. I have always shredded my chicken by hand. Just take it, pull it off the bone, stick my fingers in there, dig around. I went the lazy route today. I went the Christopher route. Because when we have pulled pork and stuff, he's got these little claws that he puts on the ends of his hands. And he uses it to pull pork. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use that on my chicken, because that'll save me a little bit of time and effort. Because as soon as I get supper done, I do have 3 quarts of squash already cut up, yellow squash, and 3 quarts of zucchini already cut up to can. Y'all should see my rack in my pantry. It's getting so full. Got 9 pints of green beans, so many pickles, and different kinds of pickles too. So, rinse my hands off, hang on. I'm gonna mix my chicken in here just a little bit, because I want that soup mixture on top of it. That's okay, counter's clean, right? I want it to get all nice and mixed into the soup mixture. We don't want any chicken laying on top. We want it to really all be the soup. And we want the chicken spread all the way out in our mix here. Now, the reason why I don't use a whole lot of spices or herbs or anything in this, because if you watched any of my other chicken videos, you know I'm all about using thyme when it comes to chicken, because thyme just is the best herb to use on chicken. But I'm not gonna do that today. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna cover this with stuffing mix. You want the herbed stuffing mix, okay? And you want a nice even layer. This particular brand, I use about a half a bag. That piece needs to be broken up a little bit. Use about a half a bag of that herb stuffing mix. Get it all the way to the edges, just like you would a good sandwich. Get your mayonnaise all the way to the edges. Sherry, don't say Miracle Whip. You want to get that topping all the way to the edges too. And just make sure there's a good layer. Make sure that you're not seeing, especially in the middle, you don't want to see any of the soup part of this. And so this bag actually is usually enough to make this twice. And when I was growing up, we ate this a lot. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven. It's gonna bake at 425 for about 30 minutes until it's nice and brown and bubbly, and that mixture, that soup mixture thickens up around that chicken. And we'll see y'all when I get back. Straight out of the oven and still bubbling. That's what we want to see. We're gonna let this rest for 5 minutes or so. Let it cool down and thicken up a little bit, and I'll see you then. All right, y'all, I did take this out at about 25 minutes because it was looking really done to me. So, last thing to do is just scoop some of this up and serve it. Look at that. Doesn't that look yummy? It smells really good. So I hope y'all try this dish. I hope you like it. We love it around here. And this is definitely, now that my college kids are gone, this is enough for supper and leftovers, because the boys would have killed this if they were here. So, y'all try it. Tell me you like it. See you soon. Y'all take care.